Hello and welcome back to my second half of the kitchen cleanup. As you can see, I'm just making sure that I actually kept it clean from when I cleaned last time. There was a few days in between filming this, so I'm actually very proud that I kept it pretty clean. I'm just giving it a good wipe down, make sure it's still nice, so that there can be that good final effect at the end there. This is your first time on my channel, then welcome as well. And check out my other stuff. Hey, how you like them apples? So I was saying last time how an hour and a half is about the max I can do for a cleanup because I don't want to get burned out, etc., etc. And well, you know what? This cleanup of the rest of the kitchen turned out to take me 3 hours. Oh, there's my octopus dish. I love that thing. Yeah, so 3 hours. It took a long time. That's why this video is so long. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm glad I finally got the kitchen just how I want it in terms of cleanliness. So it's all good. It was definitely worth the time that I put into it. Even though it was exhausting. I was sweating by the end of that. So, as you can see, that's where I have my stuff drying. I'm just putting that back away. And then I'll have everything kind of caught up for what I did last time. Some of that stuff still needs to dry, so I'm just shifting it to the other counter. So, it'll stay clean. You might be able to hear that I sound a little bit sick today. Say what you want about all the masking or unmasking, whatever your feelings are on that. But I do miss those couple years where I didn't get every virus in a 5-mile radius. Especially because I used to work at the schools and I would just pick up every single germ. I really don't want to go back to that. I'm just tired of being sick. But I guess it's either that or keep a mask on all the time. And I don't know. Pick what you prefer, I suppose. That's my oil and vinegar cabinet up there. And we've had problems in the past where we found bug droppings up there, so I don't want to use a reusable rag up there. I just use a napkin, which unfortunately I had to clip out because wardrobe malfunction. Yes, even though I thrifted some new pants and shorts, still kind of working on getting ones that, I don't know, work better. Maybe I just need a belt. But anyway, we did have pest control spray up there at one point. So there's nothing like open that the poison or whatever would get into. But I think that's helped. And also we found out that whoever installed our microwave installed it incorrectly. They were basically shunting all the smell and venting the air just up into the roof. And yeah, so I guess all the bugs were smelling that and probably coming down. So now it's venting correctly. So my husband fixed it. But yeah, it was funny because well, not funny, but they had some piece when they installed it. They said, "Oh, I don't know where this goes, what to do with it." And it turned out that that piece was actually necessary. So yeah, can't always rely on professional installations. I'm really glad that my husband is good at DIY and home stuff because I have absolutely the talent of a grasshopper. I cannot. I would like to learn one day though. So I'm just trying to get the microwave all cleaned up. Sometimes stuff gets there, splatters, you know how that is. And getting the dishes all clean in there. I don't know. Wonder if part of the reason people use so many like chemical cleaners is the smell. Because I know we probably need to like air out the kitchen because just using water doesn't leave like a great smell or clean smell behind. But I mean, it gets the job done without getting so many chemicals near the food, and I suppose that's important to me. There's my spice cabinet there. I'm just getting that cleaned up. I don't know how the spices like spill out, but they did. So I'm just getting some of the salt and stuff that spilled. It seems like a really little cabinet, but I can fit a pretty good amount of spices in there, actually. And a little bit of the borax at the back, since everything's in containers there. There are some cabinets and stuff that I choose to not put the borax in just because I don't want it like getting on the plates and stuff. Oh, I did promise more kitchen puns. That is the time. So if you are looking for a good time, just check my spice cabinet. I was told yesterday, because usually I call it like the cupboard, and my friend was like, oh, cupboard's such an old person word. It's just supposed to say cabinet. I'm like, oh, okay. Didn't realize. I don't know. You tell me if that's true. Doesn't sound true to me. Cupboard being old person word. Maybe. I've been trying to keep in mind something my aunt had emailed me a while back about trying to do like one thing each day that's productive for my business. So I've been trying to follow that this week. And here I am scrubbing down the oven stove. I'm scrubbing down the stove. It's like this ceramic, so it's kind of hard to clean. But and I did use some cleaner on it. And we have some like special ceramic cleaner stuff, but it doesn't seem to work very well either. It's always really hard to get that clean. My husband sometimes will use like a razor on it, but I'm always like afraid to do that. So I'm just using the cleaner and rag on that, and maybe we'll get it a little better later. I don't know why those are so hard to clean. And I heard that like if you put something really hot down on it, that it can crack it, because that happened to my aunt. And that doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't make sense because you would put you cook hot things on it, but apparently hot things can also crack it. So go figure. You learned something new. We're about to go to Sam's sometime today, so I'm looking forward to that. I always like spending time with her. And Sam's has some good deals sometimes. It's nice. I really like getting the frozen salmon there that I showed in my freezer cleanup, because otherwise salmon is pretty expensive, but that gets you like several servings, and the whole family likes it. It's healthy, so it's nice to be able to get that. Here we go. Moving on to the lower cabinets, or shall I say cupboards. Once I get those buttons clean. Those are also really hard to clean. The buttons on the oven. I don't know. Ovens are just challenging to clean for some reason. Maybe I need some new oven cleaning techniques. I do really like to watch cleaning videos, which is why I started making them myself. I just really like having that motivation and on seeing the new techniques, and both for cleaning and organizing. Which is funny because as a kid, I was not the cleanest. I used to have a pretty messy room. And then my friend got me really into cleaning and made me want to get it cleaned up. And I also started to see it as a way to kind of express my creativity once I could get a room the way I wanted it. And it also, I found that it really helped my mood to have just a nice space that I didn't think needed stuff done to it, somewhere I could just feel relaxed, like I didn't have a bunch of stuff to do while I'm in it. So my relationship with cleaning has definitely changed over the years. So, hey, if you have a messy kid, maybe one day they will decide that they actually like to have a clean space. I really hope so. My child hates to clean, and whenever I am saying, like, hey, it's time for you to bring your stuff up to the sink, your dishes, or like, hey, please get your laundry picked up before I do the laundry today in an hour or something, she always responds with, I hate cleaning. It's so boring. I understand. I don't enjoy the cleaning part, but I do enjoy the result and having a clean space. So it's just a trade-off. She's also learning through natural consequences that if she doesn't keep her space clean and her things organized, that she loses her items. I don't take them or anything, but she like literally loses them in her room or forgets where she put them. So I guess it'll take some time, but eventually she will see the benefits of an organized space. And who knows, maybe she'll end up like me and get a friend that likes to clean or have a clean space. Shows her the benefits of it. Sometimes peer pressure could be a good thing, right? Sometimes. She is really good at standing up for herself, though, which I appreciate. Her friends will try to get her to do something she doesn't want to do. She'll say, nope, I'm scared. I don't want to do that. I'm not interested. And that's a pretty great skill to have. I'm glad that she has that. She's even, comfortable saying that to adults who try to pressure her into things. Like, it's not like they're trying to pressure her into bad things necessarily, but like maybe going skating or something. And she feels comfortable saying, no, I don't want to do that. It's weird how some adults, like, they don't want to take that no for an answer. They want to try and convince her to do it. I know that seems a little bizarre to me, but I think it's good that, we've always respected her no and her boundaries, and that's a far more important lesson than, pressuring someone into doing skating or some other arbitrary activity. That's my opinion. We also have a rule about, going back to the cleaning, that she can keep her room how she likes because that's her space, but the rest of the house needs to be kept nice and her things picked up in it. So I think that's fair because she has her space, and then the rest of the house, the communal areas, they need to be nice so that we can all enjoy them. Anyway, as you could see on my fridge earlier, I changed Megatron to Soundwave because Soundwave is superior. So I've got my my toaster there, and that always makes me think of like those toaster trays are just so difficult to keep clean, especially if you're the only one doing it, and then other people cook things, and then it burns on there, and then you can really like never get it off. So if you know a good way of cleaning those that's worked for you, drop that in the comments. Let me know. Got my popcorn buckets there and tons of mugs, including the cat mug that my daughter got me for Christmas. And earlier I was showing I had the rechargeable batteries and the charger on the counter. And I definitely find those really helpful. You don't have to constantly buy new ones. So this is one of the cupboards that I did not put any wax in, including my daughter's cupboard, which I'm sitting on top of right now, because I just didn't want any risk of it like getting into the food or anything like that. Just in case like somebody forgot to rinse something off before using it. And we probably all would forget at some point. So just eliminating that risk. And we don't usually have a problem with bugs in those cupboards anyway. So that should be good. We have like so many thermoses and mugs. It's way too many. Those giant ones I used to fill up with water and take them with me to work. Man, I really kick my legs a lot, but it feels really good, even though it looks weird. Anyway, I would fill up the water jug and bring it to work and just drink a ton of water all day, and that helped a lot. So I just had to cut off there. I got a text message, so I'm about to run out to Sam's and then come back and maybe finish this today. But it's Soundwave on my text message notification saying, "My lord, you have received a new message." You know, just for those days when you want to feel like Megatron. Or not even like feeling like Megatron, but like you have someone like Soundwave in your life, you know? Is that not a universal feeling? Speaking of universal feelings, does anyone else get like territorial about their dishes or cups? I don't know. There's just something about it. It's like, it's not a lot of them, but I have like a specific bowl that's mine. It's a blue one. You'll see it a little bit later. And then like certain cups that are mine. And I don't know. It looks like I'm making my coffee. It was like 10 a.m. and I realized I hadn't had coffee. I wasn't even like tired, but I was like, I like the taste of coffee. So I just wanted to have my coffee and get that in. My husband's the opposite. He doesn't like the taste of it at all. I don't know. There's something about it I like. Anyway, but I think with cups, I'm just territorial because they're, I don't know. When my husband uses them, he gets like coffee stains in them. And I want my cups to look nice. I like to rinse them out right away after I use them. So, I don't know. Maybe that's not universal either. But it is something I think about on a daily basis. So I really like those containers up there. I've got my sugar up there and then my flour. And they're pretty good at keeping anything out. You are mint for greatness. See, I told you I would be coming with the kitchen puns today. A little while later, you'll see I'm going to tape that up into the spice cupboard because I think that's a good place for it. I can see that great pun every single day. I found I have like a ton of disposable napkins and plates and stuff up there. I got that train napkin from like so many years ago. I think it was for my daughter's like 2-year-old birthday party. And I don't know, we haven't had a use for it. We barely ever use disposable napkins. I have some really cute cloth ones that I use. You'll probably see those when I do my next video. I'm hoping to do the dining room clean out, and I have those in there. And I think we only use them maybe when my dad comes over because he likes the disposable napkins. So maybe if we're hosting a meal once or twice a year, we use 1 or 2 disposable napkins a year. I don't know. But maybe I can get some use out of them this summer, doing a birthday party or something. We'll see. But a lot of those were recently given to me, too, because some family member had some. We might as well get the vent while I'm up there, see? Since I barely ever reach up that high. Too short. Anyway, at least the vent can be nice and clean. But yeah, I'm grateful to be able to use them. But I think like with sustainability, and I've heard this in other YouTubers before in their videos, but when you're switching to more sustainable things, you don't just throw out all the unsustainable things. So I just have all this built up that was either used a long time ago. See, that's from a unicorn birthday party. Or that was given to me, and then we have leftovers, and I don't want to just throw them out. That's even more unsustainable if they never get used. So just kind of keeping them around, and they take up that whole shelf. Hopefully we can get through some of them. And then and it's like we don't buy anymore either. They've just been hanging around for years and years. At least they'll hopefully get some use one day. I think that's the hardest thing with decluttering is I don't want to just throw things away irresponsibly, you know? I think a lot of people probably deal with that when they're switching to a more sustainable lifestyle. So yeah, no borax in this cupboard because I didn't want it getting on the dishes, just like I didn't want it getting on the cups in the other one. And at least I was able to rearrange the cups so they all fit in there. Sometimes they don't. And my husband got rid of a thermos that he never uses, that he's had probably a year now. So some of the disposable stuff I did end up throwing away just because it was so gross. I don't know what happened up there, but I don't know. Cat hair seems to just get in like everything except for those airtight containers. It just floats all over the house. And if you have cats, maybe you know this. Maybe it happens with dogs too. It's been a while since I had dogs. I do miss having dogs. It's just they take so much energy that I don't have. I would love to be able to go on walks a bunch each day, but I just don't have the time or energy, and it would probably mostly be me doing it. And with a cat, it's easier to play with them inside, and it doesn't take, I don't know, the same type of energy, I'll say. Like, they still take energy to take care of and stimulate and everything, but it's different. Plus, my daughter likes cats. She's not that into dogs. I will say she really likes, like, small, nervous dogs, and they love her. I think it's because they're more cat-like. Like, you know, you have to be quiet around them and gentle, and she's really great at that. Whereas a lot of other dogs, they just want to, like, bound right up to you and play and lick you, and she hates that. Oh, there we go. I'm taping up my thing that I got from my school. They gave me these, like, mint things to give me encouragement, you know, and then you are mint for greatness. I'm trying on these ponds today. I promised them last time for the kitchen, so I'm trying to deliver. It's interesting that the areas I like to clean the most are my daughter's areas, I think, because she has more interesting things. They're more colorful and fun, playful. I'm tackling this drawer. So this drawer I usually find silverfish and stuff in. Luckily, I did not this time. I think it's because I cleaned it like maybe a month or so ago. But there's just so much in this drawer, and I have a hard time keeping things straight in there. So I'm kind of happy with how it finally turned out and got more organized in this. One of the things was like that box of toothpicks I took out. There's just so many toothpicks, and they all just fell out. They won't stay in the box. So I taped up the box finally, and now I don't have to worry about them. I also stuck them into a plastic bag since they wouldn't all fit in the box. I haven't had to buy plastic bags in a long time. As you saw maybe in my last video, I have those like stasher bags. I also bought some like generic silicone bags, which do not work as well. The stasher ones have been so much more durable. The other ones are like melting, even though I didn't wash them in the dishwasher because it says not to for the non-stasher bags, but they still end up somehow deforming. Who knows? Anyway, so I haven't bought like the plastic disposable bags in a really long time. Sometimes we get them from other stuff, like other things they come in. Maybe like we order a furniture package and it comes with that, or like a set of sheets and it has a plastic bag with that. So we save the plastic bag, and then I can use it for something else like this. I don't know if you can hear that. That's my cat scraping the litter box in the background there. At least she's trying to bury her stuff this time, because a lot of times she does not. and it's gross. She's kind of old, though. So I did put a little borax in this drawer, but the thing is I made sure all the silverware are in the containers, those trays, what I'm cleaning out right now. So that way we won't have to worry about it accidentally touching any borax. So that'll keep the silverware safe. Plus it's only in the back of the drawer. That helped a lot. I've also got a bunch of other like random stuff in there, like, I don't know. Other than the toothpicks, I think there's some popsicle sticks, which I have no idea why we have. I don't think I bought those. And birthday candles and some lighters and stuff. But believe it or not, this is actually not the junk drawer. It is the utensil drawer. We're going to do the junk drawer next. When I started this channel, I had some ideas about what to do. At first, I wanted to just show myself cleaning in a Soundwave mask, but I ultimately decided against that and to just, I don't know, clean and do a voiceover. It's surprisingly uncomfortable to clean while wearing a Soundwave mask. Even if I could make my Soundwave mask a little better, it would probably irritate me the whole time. And then it would take a really long time to make the Soundwave voiceover and put that all through the vocoder effect. But it would have been fun. But I think this is probably more my style. Plus I could just kind of, I don't know, chat about whatever I want instead of trying to make it more Soundwave-esque. And we all know I prefer Silent Soundwave. Speaking of Silent Soundwave, one thing I've been thinking about is one reason I liked him so much with the whole like being quiet in Transformers Prime is, you know, like I said in the other video, I just really appreciate like the ability to communicate without having to use words. And I read a really great article the other day on neurodivergency and speaking in other forms of communication, multimodal communication with the AAC devices, the augmentative and assistive devices, which are really helpful for people who don't speak using their mouth parts. So I think that's really neat because there's, almost that representation, even though with Soundwave it's more of like a choice thing. It seems like he's more comfortable communicating that way. And it would be cool if society was more welcoming to other forms of communication. I think that's important. And how cool would it be to just be able to show a picture or video on your visor and have people kind of figure out what you're trying to say to them and what you mean, rather than having to just talk and say all those things. And try to explain yourself with words, because words don't always communicate the best. Sometimes other things communicate better. And I also really communicate a lot better when I'm writing, I've found, because I think it engages a different part of your brain. And that's also true for whether you're typing something versus handwriting it. It just engages different parts of the brain. So different ways of thinking and processing can come out in that way, and I think that's pretty neat. So I think all forms of communication are great and should be valued. Shouldn't be prioritized, one over the other. Oh, that what I'm showing there, my daughter has this kind of like kid set of knives, so that they're not, like regular knives, sharp and more dangerous, and she has those like gloves too that she can use to keep her hands safe when she uses them. I think they're kind of more like ceramic. They feel more plastic than ceramic, honestly. I think the website might have misinformed me. Anyway, it's helped her learn how to like safely cut and upgrade to other types of knives, like a butter knife. She's still not interested in learning about the sharper knives, and that's probably fine with me. One day. She was even a little bit nervous about like holding them. I'm like, this is how you safely hold them. Hold a sharp knife. And I think it's important to practice that in a safe environment before it's something you're expected to do in an environment where there are less safety measures. One of these days I'll get to show you guys my cats. We've actually got 3. And the oldest one and the youngest one don't really get along. They don't like each other. We used to totally have to keep them separate, but they chilled enough now that they're not gonna like draw blood from each other, but they still don't like each other, and one will hiss if the other gets too near. Oh, there we go. There's the junk drawer. But the middle one, he gets along with both of them, and they both love him. We do have to keep the older cat separate most of the time, or like at night, because she has a different diet due to digestive issues. So we have to keep her away from the others, and then they have their separate foods. I was really grateful I did not find any silverfish or bugs in that drawer. I actually didn't find any in the whole kitchen. I was very happy about that. I was a little worried because later on I scrubbed down the baseboards because those hadn't been cleaned in a while, so I'm a little worried that the pest control stuff might have come up. So hopefully we don't see any bugs. Fingers crossed. We'll see. I don't know how these drawers get so dirty, like even on the outside. I guess stuff just splashes in the kitchen. And then maybe there's not always time to wipe up spills and stuff, which that happens. I'm trying to like sort through everything. I was so overwhelmed by how much just stuff was in that drawer, and some of it didn't even go in there. And I was like, what is that thing? I don't even know what that is. It's one of my husband's tech things. So who knows? I'm not that tech savvy. Though I did manage to figure out about recording videos and voiceovers, so I was very proud of myself for figuring a little bit out there. But I'm nowhere near as tech savvy as he is. He's pretty amazing with that kind of stuff. We're looking forward to seeing my mother-in-law. She's coming down supposedly today. I think she's going to be somewhere else for a few days and then come here for a few days. So that'll be nice. It's been a little while since we got to see her. You know, I was thinking also what was really interesting, that's kind of been on my mind lately, is I learned a lot about how social interactions and social expectations and how the world works from online. And I think that might be an underutilized resource because a lot of people might not know how to use it in a healthy way. But let me kind of explain. So growing up, I didn't always understand social rules right away. It was hard to understand things that were not kind of like plainly put, you know, and people are very indirect about social rules, unfortunately. So it makes it difficult to learn for people who don't necessarily pick up on it right away. So I found that like as an adult, and that became more accessible for me to read stories about other people and their experiences and how they felt when things happened to them. It was a great way to really build up my empathy and understand more about how other people experience the world. My little heart container, it's so cute. And I know you kind of have to curate your online experience because it's so easy to fall into like bad circles, and you know that did happen to me at one point. But if you can find a way to kind of get a diverse group of opinions, kind of a microcosm type thing, and see like what is the norm that people think about certain actions and experiences, I think that's a really great empathy building tool. And I think that empathy is a skill that you can learn, which might be kind of controversial, but it is something you can build up and understand better about how other people work. Because a lot of times I think in the past it was hard for me to understand like why people would act in certain ways. And it wasn't that I was not compassionate. It was that I just literally didn't know. I didn't know what the expectations were, the norms were, and just being able to like learn about other cultures and even my own culture, like what those kind of expectations are and the norms are, really helped with that. I don't know if anyone's had the same experience. I did learn a lot on like Tumblr, which gets a bad rap, but because I can kind of curate my experience on there and hear from people who I think have good values. I'm finally finishing my coffee like half an hour into this. But because I can kind of pick who I'm seeing posts from, that really helps to be able to build up my own values and figure out things that make sense to me and read different perspectives on it and kind of find like what's in line with my compassion. Oh, that's my little like charm thing my friend got me when she was teaching in China. And my cat like shredded up the end of it so it doesn't have the little tassel anymore. Not the older cat. I think it was the youngest one that did that when he was a kitten. But I still like it. I don't know. It makes me think of like good luck and my friendship with her, even though we don't really talk too much anymore. And I miss her. She was nice. But yeah, this drawer luckily didn't have too much in it, so it was quick. The last two drawers were quick. And then I also remember like, oh, I have that cabinet above the fridge that I need to clean out too. So I've got the one more drawer and then two more cupboards to go through. Now this one I always like find weird stuff in. Like I don't know, the hair and stuff floats in there. So we always have to clean out the bowls before we use them, rinse them out. Those black and white mixing bowls I have were gifted to me by my aunt when I first moved into this house, which was really nice. And I've had them ever since. And then, of course, my red cookware. I would probably choose a different color if I was getting new cookware today, but I don't want to, like, you know, give away or throw away perfectly good cookware. So I'm just going to be sticking with that for the lifetime of it. I also learned in a YouTube video, I think it was from Shell Bizzle, that the non-stick type of pans are found to be bad for your health in some way. So I try not to use those anymore, but I don't know what to do exactly with the ones I have. What to do, you know, you try to be sustainable, you try to get things that are convenient as well, and it's all a balance, but you can only do what you learn. Now those bowls, those glass ones that I'm putting away now, I don't know what to do with those. I might end up getting rid of those at some point because I hardly ever use them. I think the only time I've used them this year, in the last year, I should say this year isn't very far along, but in the last year or so, I probably have only used them to make like these sweet potato pouches that I found on clearance somewhere. I always like, pray for me with this cupboard. I keep the empty boxes of certain things just to get the instructions on how to cook them so that they don't take up space in the freezer and fridge when I have a lot of stuff, which is not pretty, but it makes it useful. Maybe I'll find some way to make it pretty one day. Put them in a book or something. And then I also have my candles up there that are on the counter. And I have one. I think I have a candle for every season except for spring. But then I hear about like candles not being that great for you, so I don't know. I try not to use them too much, and then they last like forever. So I'm never gonna need a new candle because it's gonna probably last my whole life. It's nice to get that cleaned up there though, because that cupboard doesn't get a lot of attention. I just kind of shove things up there. and it kind of needed it. I'm actually really eager to finish up with this video today and then go film my next one for the dining room. Easy cooking for beginners. So my sister and I made that for my dad to try and get him to start cooking one day when we were a lot younger. And I drew that like awful picture because that was how I drew at the time because I was a little kid. And I think I had like how to boil water or something. It had some like really basic recipes, but I don't think he ever cooked. I was like, one more to go, yay! Anyway, so I'm really excited to film the next one because I love my dining room. It's super pretty. I worked really hard on the artistic aspect of it, and I think you guys are going to enjoy seeing that. Oh, I finally finished my coffee. I thought I finished it earlier, but I just finished it now. Yeah. And I guess keeping in mind that this is at 300 times speed. So, percent times speed. What is that? Anyway, this is at 3 times the speed as normal. So, that's like way far into the day since this whole cleaning took 3 hours. I can't do the math right now. I went to school for a job where I would never have to do math. I am not a math whiz. Part of that, I think, is probably because like the math teachers at my school were really either intense or inept. I think there were a couple that were sweet and like good, but I don't know. I never felt like I got the fundamentals of it. We had this geometry teacher who would just turn up to the whiteboard and then never look around, never turn around. And then he would give us a study guide that basically had the exact same things that were going to be on the test. So if we memorized the study guide, we would usually do fine on the test. Those little kitty plates are so cute. Because my daughter loves kitties. So that's why she wanted those. It's nice that she can have stuff like that's at her height to reach. Little kitty cloth napkins, because her school requires cloth napkins instead of disposable ones. And her grandma, my mother-in-law, who's coming to visit actually, who I was talking about earlier, she made those for her. The little kitty cloth napkins. Yeah, and then I had this one math teacher who, he was a sweet guy, but the class had zero respect for him. And I felt really bad for him because no one listened. They just talked through the entire class. And then because me and this girl were the only 2 people in the class who respected him and were actually quiet during class, he would like come over and answer our questions on tests. So I didn't actually learn anything in that either. And I had this one math teacher who, like, when he'd get mad at people, he'd call them Mr. Wizard. What are you doing, Mr. Wizard? Oh, man. That was an intense school. And then my last year of high school, well, my bio mom had died, so I switched all my classes to try and just kind of take the load off mentally. And I was just really depressed. Like, I was depressed before that, and that just made everything a million times worse. So I dropped out of AP statistics, and I told the teacher it was because I was just too stupid to do the math, and she just kind of agreed with me. And I think that was just really awful for her to just agree with me on that. I don't think she knew what had happened, but still. If any kid like came to me saying like, I'm just too stupid to do this, sorry, I'm dropping out of the class, I don't think I would agree with them. That just seems kind of mean. But yeah, I did not really get a lot of encouragement with math support throughout my school years. So I think that's my unhealthy relationship with math there, and that's what that stems from. Moving on from my math trauma, so I finished up everything basically on the counters, and I always try to work top to bottom when I'm cleaning. That's why in the first cleanup I started with um, getting the ceiling and the fan. And you see, I like to have as little on my counters as possible, which I've mentioned before. Even just putting whatever I can away in cupboards or drawers. Just don't want to see it. Anyway, so from here, I've just got the floor left and the baseboards, which did take a while, but I was really glad that I did it, just getting down on the floor and scrubbing, which I think there's something good about doing that, just as a way for me to, I don't know, feel more respect for my space, that I'm like cleaning every inch of it. Anyway, so all I have left here is just getting the floor and the baseboards, and that took a while. But I went through like, I don't know, several rags, and that came up like black from the floor. So it really definitely needed it. That kind of dark flooring, which my husband actually put all the flooring down in our house, made it all continuous, and it looks amazing. But it does hide the dirt, so you just have to kind of clean it even if you don't see the dirt. Just clean it anyway. I get a lot of cat hair in a day anyway, so it's probably a good idea to regularly do that with dark floors. So I was trying to get up a lot of these like random little spots that I don't even know what they were. Like, why are there these sticky spots here? What is the sticky spot? Where did it come from? Who knows? Not me. Some of it felt like, I don't know, like gummies or something, but you'd think you'd know if you dropped like a gummy on the floor. Somebody would know. I don't know, maybe it's like chocolate ice cream or something. Who knows? So, just scrubbing it up as best I can here. I guess thinking more about the whole teachers thing, I don't know that I had a lot of like supportive teachers growing up. I remember there was one language arts teacher, I think it was 7th grade, and he was great. He was just really, like, he seemed to care about the kids' mental health, and would say, like, hey, if you ever need a break, you can go take a break. It's okay. He was the only teacher I remember ever actually saying something like that, like demonstrating some iota of care about, the mental health. At least up until that point. That was the first time I heard a teacher seem to care about it. And then, I guess further on, I had a teacher in high school for a couple classes, and he was pretty great. Like, maybe not with the subject always. Sometimes I didn't really learn. Maybe it was just the different styles, but in learning versus teaching. But he seemed to really care about mental health as well, and was really supportive, a really good support to me after my mom died. And I felt like I could trust him. And then I kept in contact with him after high school for a while, and then he just kind of ghosted me. It was really bizarre. I don't know what happened. It was like right before I transitioned, became out of the trans guy. But he just like totally ghosted me. So who knows? I don't know why he did that. I never really got an explanation, and I probably never will. But I liked him a lot. I appreciated how much he helped me back then. And then, let's see, who else did I have? I had a really good language arts teacher in high school too. He was only at the school for like a year. He probably couldn't stand the culture there, which was very like elitist. And he was really supportive also when my mom was sick. So I appreciated him. I hope he's doing well. And he seemed like he had like a really balanced worldview too, and cared. And yeah. And then I know in college I started getting some really amazing teachers, and I think that's probably true in a lot of places. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. But like college was when I really thrived because I had teachers that seemed like they really cared about me actually learning this stuff rather than just getting a good grade. And I feel like that's the most quality education I got was both my undergrad and my graduate school. But I had this really amazing astronomy teacher that made me love learning so much that I decided to minor in astronomy. And then I also had a really amazing history teacher in my undergrad too, and she was just great. She made it so like fun and dynamic and interesting. It was all about like the history of drugs and stuff in South America, which is funny that that like intrigued me so much, seeing as I've never even had a sip of alcohol or tried any sort of drug. But like just learning about it and like the trade and the violence was like super interesting to me for some reason. Probably because of her. Like she would bring in a lot of first-hand accounts and articles and stuff, and then like show us media and movies and stuff and stories. And yeah, I really appreciated her. I learned a lot from her. And yeah, at college I had a lot of really good teachers. There was one teacher I just totally noped out of the class. It was, of course, a math class. And she started going on about like how we better be on time, we better do X, Y, Z, and just in a really like condescending way. And at that time I was like, look, I'm paying you for my degree and I will not be talked to that way. Like I went through that enough in grade school, you know, of being treated as less than in that dynamic of power. You know, I want professors that are going to talk to me like a human being in a respectful way. And so I found a different class to fulfill that requirement. But like everybody else at that school was just really great. I had a really good experience with them. I also had a really good economics teacher for a couple classes. And I initially like was like, wow, I really like her and I'm learning so much from her. Maybe I'll double major in economics. So I did that for like a semester, and then I took other economics classes with other teachers who I did not get along with as much. You know, they were good, but it wasn't my thing. So I just kept with the psych major and the astronomy minor. And as much as I don't necessarily love the idea of like gen ed classes, it did help me explore a lot of other interests that I might otherwise not have. So that was kind of cool. And maybe that's the purpose of them. Maybe it's not to actually make sure you know this information. Maybe it's to make you explore and be sure of what you are choosing as your major. And I had a kind of a crisis because I almost switched to physics instead of psychology. And I would be a totally different person if I had I don't know, like emotions never came easy for me and dealing with them and stuff. And so I think that's what drew me to it initially. It was like I want to be good at this thing that I suck at. And so I kept working at it. And finally got some good information on how to deal with it and how to cope and how to be a decent human being. So yeah, but I almost switched to physics because I just loved the people in the physics department so much. And that was a big thing for me, was being around healthy people. Because I had been craving that for such a long time. But I'm glad that I stuck with psych because I learned so much about myself and how to be a better person, how to be more compassionate, more empathetic, I should say. I had the compassion, I just didn't know how to direct it in a good way. But I think I wouldn't be as good of a parent and friend and husband if I had just picked some other sort of life career. You know, hopefully this is something I can do for the rest of my life because I really enjoy the counseling aspect. And I am eager to get back to that and be able to help people and support them through some difficult times, difficult challenges. I'm almost done here. It's looking great. I'm so happy with how this kitchen turned out and finally having it nice and clean and not feeling stressed. I was worried that as soon as I finished that my husband would come home and make a mess in there, but he's actually been really great at keeping it clean since then, which I filmed this Monday, and it's Tuesday as I'm recording this. But I think he does enjoy a clean environment too. But I've really enjoyed getting to talk with you guys today, and I hope that you'll leave me a nice comment below and like and subscribe. And I'm going to get to show you in a minute that I'm done. But there I am, just scrubbing up the final little bits. It is a nice kitchen. I really like the flooring that he put in. Just getting the final sweeping. I'm like, I want every little speck up. I'm glad that I didn't clip my nails because I scrubbed things up. All right, thank you. Bye.